Economics, Form 2, Commodity. Economics, Form 2, Commodity. So we are talking about commodities. You can look at this air conditioner. That is a commodity for freshening air. Now look at these crates of drinks here. These are all commodities. That motorcycle there, the car behind, they are all commodities. So we are talking about commodities, and we want to say that the end result of production is a commodity. The end result of production is a commodity. Commodities satisfy a want. Commodities have utility. They have utility. Commodities can be consumed. That is, they are consumable. And commodities are scarce. Commodities are marketable. So these are the aspects that best describe a commodity. These are the aspects that best describe a commodity. Now look at a commodity in terms of a good or a service. So, but all of them are described by what we saw there. They are marketable, they have utility, they are scarce. So commodities could be in the form of goods or services. These are goods here. You have this motorcycle, which is a good, that is a commodity. And here you have this, our famous woman in a tricycle, that is a service she's rendering. She's transporting goods. And if we go further, we'll say a good. So we are identifying two types of goods, and we're looking at the first, which is free gifts of nature, free goods, that is, they are free gifts of nature that have utility. We have like rainwater. It falls everywhere. It waters our farms. We can still carry rainwater and use. We have natural trees. Some are bearing us fruits. Some are giving us heirloom. Some are giving us non-timber forest products. Some are keeping our animals, our wild animals alive. Then we have sands, stones, which eventually we use in construction work, but which are not made by us. We have mushrooms that our children go up the hills and pick. And all these things are free to whoever is exploiting them directly. So if you're exploiting them directly, they are free. If you go up the hills and pick your mushrooms, you come and cook, nobody disturbs you. If you have a river by your side, a house, you have a river and you go there and collect your sand, or you go to the hill and collect your stones and use them for whatever you want, nobody will disturb you, as long as you don't trespass into somebody's place. As rain is falling, you can collect as much rainwater as you want and use. But once these same items, once they come to you through a second person, already some extra thing is added, then they are no longer free, especially if you have to pay for that intervention. They are no longer free. So we say free gifts are considered as goods only when they are scarce. So when they are free, anybody can turn around and grab anywhere and use anybody. But when they are scarce, at that time, they must come with a price. They must come with a price. So if we look at the free gifts here, this is sand with stones inside. This is free. You can go and collect it like this man is finding. He's trying to see whether it is good sand that he can carry and use for something. Then this is sunlight. It is shining here over the sea, but it could be shining over our land or over any source. It could be getting to us and we enjoy it. What do we do with sunlight? At least we dry our clothes, put some clothes there to get dry. Do we pay anybody for that? No. Our mothers dry their fruits, certain vegetables and things in the sunlight, and it is all free. Nobody is paying for that. It only becomes payable if some other person is intervening. So from there, we now look at what we can consider as economic goods. We talked about free goods, and we talked about several things, including rainwater, river water, seawater, sunlight, sand, stones. But all these items obtained in the wild, that is not under any control. Not under any control. So now let's look at economic goods. These are goods that have a cost of production. They are scarce and they have utility. So they also have a price. Because of the cost of production, they have a price. We gave some examples here: machete, knife, shirt, phone, banana, cement. These are goods. We all know a machete has a cost of production. They use wood for the handle and they use metal for the blade. The knife, the same. The shirt, they use cloth. And the phone has a price. We all know that, and they have utility, and they are scarce. We don't find them everywhere free. So these are economic goods. They are examples. There are so many economic goods. But we are observing here that some free goods can be transformed into economic goods. And we say, e.g., bottled water. That is, if you take Supermong, or that is Supermong or Supermong or whatever the name is, or Tangi, this is all water from the ground. It is free. It's coming from the ground. It is bottled. The cost of bottling it now gives it a price, so it becomes an economic good. We have other examples like sand. If you go to the beach, there's a lot of sand there. You can carry as much as you want if you have the means of carrying it free of charge. Or if you go to the riverside, but when you want to construct a house, to get this sand brought and deposited in front of a house, it comes with a price. You could pay 200,000 francs for a truckload. So that sand is now a commodity. If you go up the hills, you will find stones free. You can carry as much as you want. But if you want that stone to be brought by somebody else and kept for you to work with, it comes at a price. You pay a price for a truckload of stones for their construction work. So this comes with almost most of these items that are free. Once there is a price tag attached to them, and they are scarce, of course. You know, when we talk about scarcity, if you go to the beach, the sand is unlimited in supply. It is not scarce. But if it is brought, if sea sand is carried and brought to Bamenda, it will have a cost and it will have a price because some effort has been put in. So you see the difference between, you see the force of that scarcity. It is scarce, it does not occur in Bamenda. So if we look at goods again, we have producer goods and consumer goods. So for producer goods, we are considering raw materials or primary goods in most cases that are used during the production process. Could be sand, iron rods for construction work, cement, palm oil for making of soaps and other cosmetics, wool for making clothes and all that, hides, electric shaver and clippers and so on. So these we could still call them producer goods because they are made to produce. Now, I want to draw your attention to the electric shaver. Now, if I bought an electric shaver and took to my house for shaving my jaw, that is purely a consumer good, purely a consumer good. If a barber buys the electric shaver, he uses it in production because he uses it to shave people, to render a service, and they pay him for that service. So that electric shaver now has been transformed into a consumer, a producer good. If I took 5 million francs and bought a Toyota car for myself, for my house, and my wife, and my children, I'm using it as a personal car. It means that it is a consumer good. I'm simply consuming it. If my brother takes the same 5,000 and buys his own car and puts it as registers it as a taxi and starts rendering that service of transporting persons, they pay, he transports them left to right. It means what is he doing? He has taken the same commodity which I'm using as a consumer good, and he's using it as a producer good. He's producing a service. So there, that is where you find that the producer goods may at a certain time be consumer goods and at another time be producer goods, depending on how they are used. Depending on how they are used. Now, if we look at consumer goods, we say they are goods that are meant for consumption only. Although the process of consumption may result in the production of another good or service. As we said, in the process of using a electric shaver, the barber now is producing a service. So you could have goods meant for consumption, but which could be exploited for production. So that is the same thing, like sugar, like flour, and there are so many of them. As I explained earlier, I could have my cell phone, which I think I'm consuming because I'm using it for myself. Then my sister now takes her own cell phone and is running a call box. To her now, that is a producer good. She's using that phone to render a service. So her phone now has become a producer good, is rendering a service my own. I'm directly and only consuming it. So you look at this economics, the beginner's companion, and I advise that you go into Google and you Google, look for the word, the meaning of the word commodity.